Hello, everybody. This is Ryan Koki of the Seahawk Recap Show, and welcome to News of the Week, episode number 17. And how are we all feeling after week 13 in the NFL? As a Seahawks fan, I'm not feeling too good. I was really disappointed when we lost to the Cowboys. That's three straight losses in a row for us. And to make matters worse, we're now third in the NFC West. So that really sucks because now the Rams are ahead of us and at 6-6. And if we don't win the next 5 games coming up, I think we're gonna miss the playoffs, man. I really do. So every game now counts. I also do want to kind of apologize to you guys. I was supposed to have this episode out a week earlier, but I didn't have much motivation last week to record videos, but I am back now. So here is the episode you guys have all been waiting for. Without me rambling on too much more, let's get into this week's episode. And I named it Domino Effect because now we're in. We're in it. The final stretch, the next 5 games are crucial for every team, whether you're coming into the playoffs and it's useful for seeding, or whether you're out of the playoffs already and you need to either lose games to have a good spot in the draft for a draft pick in the 2024 draft. The week 13 recap. Let's start off on Thursday night football. Cowboys versus Seahawks. It was a 41-35 win for the Cowboys on Thursday night. If you would like to see the full reaction to this game, I would highly recommend going to the Seahawks game recap playlist and checking it out because, man, in that video, I was very annoyed and very, really disappointed. But now it's a little bit of fear setting in as a Seahawks fan, to be honest, because now we really need to step it up. Next on the list, we have the Titans versus the Colts. It was a 31-28 win for the Colts in OT. 4-8 for the Titans, 7-5 for the Colts. And man, just another OT game, and it's a very close game. It's very close. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. Every win and every loss is so crucial at this time of the year. Good to see the Colts at 7-5. I didn't really expect the Colts to be at 7-5 this year, but here we are. Next up, we got the Jets versus the Falcons, a 13-8 win for the Falcons. They now take center stage and take first place in the NFC South, and they will potentially get a home game in the playoffs if things stay like they are. And just keep winning, Falcons, because if you guys can solidify another maybe 2 wins in your division, you guys could be front runners in that conversation in the NFC. For the Jets, man, just keeps getting worse. 4-8, and honestly, not even Aaron Rodgers, I think, would have had fixed these Jets' woes. The entire team has been very, very questionable this year. Hopefully, you guys can bounce back in 2024, 2025, and recapture your magic from past year. We move on to the Saints versus the Lions, a 33-28 victory for the Lions, 9-3 now. Man, they are 9-3. How about that for the Lions? Good to see. For the Saints, it's another loss, 5-7, and man, I don't know what it is, but you guys, I remember a couple of years ago, at least some of your fans were saying, "Oh, all we need is a quarterback. All we need is a quarterback." And you had Derek Carr, and this was supposed to be a pretty good year for you guys, but you guys have now just seemed like you've fallen flat. And I don't know if it's the coaching, I don't know if it's the players, the roster or anything, but you guys have not looked very good this season. Hopefully, you can bounce back and have a good, strong finish to the rest of the season. Next up, we have the Texans versus the Broncos, a 22-17 win for the Texans. The Texans are 7-5. If anybody was thinking that the Texans were going to be 7-5 next year after having 2 picks, with CJ Stroud coming in and with Will Anderson coming in, and they were like, "Oh yeah, D'Amico Ryan's going to come in and have a 7-5 record at week 13 at this point." I would have laughed in your face, but here they are. Man, it's great to see a big defensive performance from these Texans. And for the Broncos, tip your hat to the Texans. It's a tough loss, but you guys are 6-6. You guys could potentially still make the playoffs. Just keep on winning. This is a little bump in the road, but you guys have now found some magic. So if you make the playoffs this year and you guys can put all these things together, you guys could make some very much big noise. Or if you miss the playoffs, just take this as a learning experience. This is a first year head coach with Sean Payton under the helm of this, and you guys will come out just fine. We have the Patriots versus the Chargers, a 6-0 win for the Chargers. That is right. 6-0. I never thought a score would get that low in the NFL ever, at least in the modern NFL. They had 2 field goals, the Chargers. They escaped with a win, and man, I don't even know what to say. 2-10 Patriots. Man, that is the first time the Patriots have gone 2-10 since I believe the 2000s. 2000 was the last time the Patriots had 10 losses in their record. That's insane. For the Chargers, you escape with your lives there. 5-7. Now you guys need to keep pushing because, oh my God, you guys can have a bit more pep in your step for next week, because if you keep getting those kind of games, you're not going to win many of them. Next up, we have the Steelers versus the Cardinals, a 24-10 victory for the Cardinals. Man, every time I see the Cardinals win right now, I will say the exact same thing. They're a rebuilding team and they keep it competitive. They want to win. Give this team some more star power and see what they can do, because man, if they're able to rattle off wins, they keep it competitive in every game they play. It's really impressive to see. Sad to see for the Steelers, 7-5 though. You guys just, I don't know what happened with you guys. You guys kind of threw the game away a little bit, but hopefully you can bounce back in week 14. Commanders versus Dolphins are the next one up, and it was a 45-15 victory for the Dolphins. Nothing new for the Dolphins. High-powered offense all season long. I believe Tyreek Hill now needs 500 plus yards to get into the 2,000 club. There's 5 weeks left. 5 weeks, and he'll get into the 2,000 receiving mark. If he does that, he'll be the first wide receiver in NFL history to reach the 2,000 yard mark. That would be insane. And I honestly really hope it happens, because it would just be really cool to see. For the Commanders, 4-9, and you guys are coming in next season, I think, with a whole new look. I think everyone on that coaching staff, except for Eric Bieniemy, is going to be fired. You fired Jack Del Rio a couple of weeks ago, and you guys are, again, rebuilding. But getting 4 wins on the season isn't bad. Let's see if you can get more wins next week. Next up, we have the Buccaneers versus the Panthers. 21-18. Buccaneers win it out. And this game was a lot more closely knitted than I was ever expecting. Bucks win it out 5-7, and the Panthers 1-11. So, man, this season just hasn't gone to plan for you guys. Nothing is working. And I don't think you can blame it all on Bryce Young. Honestly, this entire team has been shambolic. Everywhere you turn, this team just needs a full scale overhaul, and this is what rebuilds are for. Sadly, you guys don't have your first overall pick for this year, so I wonder how things are going to work out for you in the future. But I don't know. I guess keep pushing, I guess, because that's all you can do at this point. For the Bucks, man, 5-7, and again, you're right there with the Saints. You're right there with the Falcons, and we'll see what happens in the NFC South, and if you guys can even make the playoffs at this point. Next up, we have the Eagles versus the 49ers, a 42-19 victory for the 49ers. And that's revenge for the NFC Championship game last year. That is the kind of outcome that the 49ers wanted, man. They are so deadly. They can hurt you in so many different ways. I see that firsthand twice a year as a Seahawks fan. Like, these guys are just insane. Like Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, so much pedigree there because they can hit you in so many different ways. It was a nice dominant win for the 49ers, and they look like a complete football team. And that's why I chose them to go to the Super Bowl this year in my week 9 predictions because, man, they're just a complete package. Good to see from them. For the Eagles, 10-2, you're not going to win all your games. But, hopefully, this is just a minor setback for you guys, and with the new addition you added, which I will get to later on in this video, I think you guys can still be a very big opponent coming into the NFC playoffs and will be able to challenge the 49ers for an NFC championship game in the future in these playoffs when it comes time in the next 5 weeks. We have the Rams versus the Browns, a 36-19 win for the Rams. And this is why I was scared. This is why the Seahawks are third in the NFC West because these Rams, man, 6-6. They, in case of a tiebreaker, they have beaten the Seahawks twice, so they will take the second spot. And man, they look like they're on a run. Matthew Stafford looks like he's back. He looks like he's been really good. Kyrie Williams is been a monster these past couple weeks, and they're going to keep pushing for playoff spots. The Seahawks just need to match pace, and hopefully we'll see what happens in the NFC West. For the Browns, 7-5. Again, you guys have had a very interesting season because your defense has held you guys up through this kind of whole season long because you guys don't know who your quarterback is week in, week out. Is it Dorian Robertson? Is it Deshaun Watson? No, well, no, he's injured. Is it PJ Walker? Oh, well, no, he's not being used. Now you're going into the game with Joe Flacco. And honestly, Joe Flacco playing in 2023, I thought the man was retired. I thought he retired a year ago now, but you guys need to decide who your quarterback is. I know it's been a really tough season with all the injuries you've had, but if you go into the playoffs and if you even make the playoffs with this kind of record, you're still 7-5, so anything can happen. But I'm worried if Joe Flacco goes into the playoffs, what you'll be able to achieve. Packers versus the Chiefs. It was a 27-19 victory for the Packers. They are now 6-6. And Jordan Love, man, he really has picked it up. He's really looking really comfortable. Is this the adjustment period that he needed? Because I remember a couple of weeks ago, you guys were down at like 4-6 and things like that, and things weren't looking great. And now I was looking at Jordan Love and I was going, oh, is he the future? Yada yada yada. Do you draft a quarterback in the first round and da 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 da? But now Jordan Love looks like he's getting into it. And now is he gonna be your franchise QB? Is that gonna be a thing? We'll see. But good win for the Packers, 6-6. You're now in a wild card spot. Keep on pushing. For the Chiefs, 8-4, and you guys look very, very shaky. I know there were a lot of like calls there that in this game in particular, like there were some blatant pass interference calls that were missed. There were a couple of calls that could have gone the other way, but you guys need to be more cohesive because this is scary for you guys because now you're 8-4 and this does not look like the same team in years past. It looks like Mahomes is just trying everything at this point to try and get you guys into the playoffs. We'll see what happens when you make the playoffs this year. For the final game of the night on Monday Night Football, it was an OT game. 34-31. Bengals win over the Jaguars with Jake Browning. How is that even possible? Oh my God, this game was a barrel of chaos. At least so I heard. I didn't get to watch this game, but I wish I did because just waking up in the morning and hearing about this game was insane. 8-4 for the Jags. Not a bad record at all. You guys are still looking to challenge for the AFC top spot. So keep on doing what you're doing. just be very careful because now the Colts and the Texans are behind you. So no more slip ups from here forward. Maybe you can afford to lose a game next week, but after that, it's really slim pickings. So hopefully you guys can bounce back in week 14. And for the Bengals, man, you guys lose your franchise QB and put in a masterclass of a performance. Honestly, like no one was expecting you to win this game after Joe Burrow went down. You thought the season was over, and here comes Jake Browning, and he lights the world on fire. Good win, and hopefully you can carry this momentum into week 14 and try to get another win. And I just realized that I forgot the week 13 buys, so let's go over that real quick. The Ravens had a buy at 9-3. The Bills had a buy at 6-6. The Bears had a buy at 4-8. The Raiders had a buy at 5-6. The Vikings had a buy at 6-6, and the Giants had a buy at 4-8. Next up, we have the Week 13 IR report. And let's talk about wide receiver Tank Dell for the Houston Texans. He was placed on IR December 5th with a fractured fibula, and he's out for the season. And when I heard about the kind of injury that Tank Dell suffered, I really hate injuries. You all know this. I've said this multiple times in these News of the Week videos, but especially when there's rookies involved, especially when you hear about the story about Tank Dell actually getting drafted by the Houston Texans. That was because of CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud played with Tank Dell and wanted him on the team, so the Houston Texans went out and went, okay, we'll give you a weapon that you know. And now Tank Dell's injured. He was having a really good rookie season. I hope he bounces back in 2024, 2025 and doesn't miss a beat because I like watching him play and I wish him all the best in his recovery. Next up, we have Carolina Panthers wide receiver Laviska Shenault Jr. placed on IR November 30th with an ankle injury. Will miss the next 4 games, and things just keep getting worse for the Panthers. You guys don't have that much talent on your roster, it has to be said, in terms of how much injury you've been going through, and now you lose a weapon in Laviska Shenault. I know he hasn't been doing great for you guys, at least in terms of stats wise, but it's another player, it's another potential weapon that you guys have now lost for the next 4 games. I wish him all the best in his future recovery, and hopefully he only misses the next 4 games and he's not out long term. Next up, we have the Jets, and it's CJ Uzama, tight end, December 6th, placed on IR with a knee injury. He will also miss the next 4 games. And honestly, I really like CJ Uzama. He was great with the Bengals, and although he hasn't really done great with the Jets this season, the whole Jets offense has not done particularly great. So it really sucks to see CJ Uzama go down because he's a very uh, good tight end from what I've been seeing on the Bengals. I wish him all the best in his recovery, and I hope he has a great rest of the season. Next up, we have the Saints, and it's Marcus May, safety, December 6th, placed on IR, a shoulder injury. He will miss the next 4 games as he is placed on IR. And man, a guy that I honestly really like. I don't know why I like Marcus May. I liked him on the Jets, and it really sucks to see his name in the injury report because he's just he's a good player, man. I honestly do like him. He's just had a pretty bad run of luck lately in his career, with whether that be injuries or him just underperforming. I wish him all the best in his recovery throughout the rest of the season. And for the final injury I wanted to talk about, it's Philip Haynes, guard, November 30th, placed on IR with a toe injury, will miss the next 4 games for the Seahawks. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because we got Abraham Lucas back, our right tackle, our future star right tackle. And as soon as we get him back from IR, Phil Haynes takes his spot on IR, and we can't have anything nice on this O-line, can we? As a Seahawks fan, this just sucks. He'll miss the next 4 games at least, and I hope that's all he misses because we just want this offensive line to be healthy, and it's not great when you're fighting for your lives in the playoffs. I wish Philip Haynes all the best in his speedy recovery, and if he needs to take another extra game, might as well do it because him playing at not 100% is not going to help us one bit. Next up, we go to Robbie Gould enjoying retirement. He announced on Thursday that he is retiring. And, for a kicker, man, like I came in and I watched him play on the 49ers. I watched him play as a Chicago Bear, which I completely forgot he was a Chicago Bear. And he's just a great kicker, man. Look at these stats: 166 games played, had 276 field goals made out of 323 attempts. His field goal percentage was 85%. His extra points, he had 379 extra points made, 383 attempted, had a 99% completion on his extra points. It was just insane. Need to know, Robbie Gould ranks 10th in the league history in points scored, 1,961. That is insane. I forgot how good Robbie Gould was. Man, I completely forgot how good he was. It's just insane to look at these kind of kickers now, and they have long careers. And to see a guy like Robbie Gould, who I've looked at and went, oh, he's a really good kicker. I hear this guy's name over and over and over again. And I didn't know his stats were that good because I don't pay attention to kickers that much, but man, just a great player. For the Giants, he played in 2016 and he had 10 games, 10 field goals, had 100% field goal percentage, had 20 for 23 on extra points, had an 87% extra point percentage, and was 8th in field goals made, 447. That's insane, man. Like that's mental. Like he's 8th all time in field goals made. Like mental player. Played also for the 49ers 2017 to 2022. Had 90 games played, 161 field goals made, 184 field goal attempts, 88% field goal percentage, had 221 extra points for 230 extra points attempted, had a total of a percentage of 96% extra points in his last couple of games with the 49ers. He had 86.4% career success rate on his field goal attempts. That makes him 9th all time. And in this little graphic here, shout out to Robbie Gould. Never missed a kick in the playoffs. 29 for 29 on field goals, 39 for 39 on extra points. That is insane. And that's why you pay your kickers, ladies and gentlemen, because a guy like Robbie Gould has saved so many Bears and so many seasons for the 49ers in the playoffs. This is why you pay the kickers. And I wish Robbie Gould all the best in his retirement. Thank you for blessing us as a football kicker. And the final thing I wanted to talk about for news of the week is Shaquille Leonard signs with the Eagles. Howie Roseman can't keep getting away with this, man. Honestly, this season he now has Kevin Byard and now he has Shaquille Leonard. Honestly, he has an all-pro free safety and now he gets an all-pro left linebacker for free. Really? Really? It's insane what the Eagles can do with this team. And Shaquille Leonard, man, he can now help the Eagles make a massive improvement to this Eagles defense because this guy was an all-pro in 2018. Sure, he hasn't had the best couple of years, these last couple of years with him being in 2022, he had back surgery, so he only played 3 games then, and now in 2023 with the Colts, he only played 9 games, and he wasn't looking great. But I think now with him getting a new change of scenery, with him getting a new change of everything, he's now gonna return to that all-pro form. Shaquille Leonard has always been a guy that I've looked at on the Colts and went, "Oh my god, like, this guy is insane." I think Leonard will surely help the Eagles defense, be better against the run and potentially give them a much needed boost in the pass rush department. If Leonard doesn't, oh well, it's a 1-year deal and the Eagles don't have to resign him. I think this is a really good chance for Leonard to prove that he can be back to an all-pro level and maybe even have a chance at winning a Super Bowl ring. I I honestly just I honestly am rooting for Leonard because I really liked him on the Colts. I really think he was a really good advocate for the Colts, and entering his 6th season now, he's gonna get better. I think now with a system underneath him, he's only 28, so he will bounce back. And I think with a new system, you'll see him get back to potentially an all pro level. And this is just a very low risk reward for Howie Roseman and the Eagles whole entire organization. This is a masterclass in how to pick out some all pro talent. And this could give the Eagles the boost they need to challenge the 49ers for an NFC championship game. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of News of the Week, and I will see you on Sunday as I will have the Seahawks game recap versus the 49ers. Anyways, hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll come back to the channel for that. This is Ryan Koki of the Seahawk Recap Show signing off. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a like. And if you really liked it and would like to see any future content from me, please consider subscribing. Anyways, guys, have a good day. Go Hawks, go.